Right, today I'm going to show you how to assemble this cute little shaker bat. Super cute. I'll tell you what I will do different too. There's one thing I really do different, but other than that, I really love how these came out. They're super cute. You can make little like paper clips out of them, use them as embellishments, dress them up some more. But these are super adorable. I made them on my Cricut, and I'm going to show you how to assemble them. So for this, I used 4 different elements to cut on my Cricut. The first one being a piece of purple cardstock. Any weight is fine. The thicker, probably even the better. It'll make it just that much more sturdy, but all the layers actually make it really sturdy. You're going to need craft foam. So as you can see, just sheets of craft foam that I cut from, get them really, really cheap, Michael's, whatever. You can cut craft foam on the Cricut using either the deep cut blade, so you can use either Cricut machine, or the knife blade. That one you can only use on the maker. So I used mine using the knife blade, and it made 2 passes with the knife blade, and it came out perfect. I was a little scared because the piece is so thin. So this is super thin. It's cut at 3 inches across, but as you can see, like, this is really thin and it cut really, really well. The next piece you're going to need is just a piece of acetate clear plastic. And this was just cut with the regular thin cut blade, fine point blade, sorry about that, and just another piece of cardstock for the top layer. So with those 4 pieces, the only other thing you're going to need is something to fill in your shaker. You can get like glitter, or like what I did with this one is I use these really cute little Halloween clay pieces. So these were really, really cute. They have like little different color bats and things like that. I didn't use all the pieces in there. I only used some of the bats and stuff like that were in there. This next one though, I think I'm going to use this little thing of glitter that I got. All right, now 2 things about this though. If you want to make this into a paper clip, I do suggest cutting 2 of the base layers, just so you can sandwich the paper clip between the 2 base layers later. And if you want to use anything that's really thick, because you can kind of see how thin that is, it's really thin, and my shaker bits are perfect for that size. But if you want to use anything a little bit thicker, because I was about to put in these little small like little pastel balls in there that I had. So see how those ones are? Those were a little too thick for the 1 layer of foam. So you might want to cut 2 layers of foam if you want anything that's going to be thicker than, you know, the layer of foam. All right, for this one though, we're going to use glitter, so we don't really need it too thick. Now, one of the tips I can give you is when you're pulling this piece off of your mat, be really careful. You don't want to do the thing where you lift it up and just peel like that, because this could get a bit stretched out. I went all the way around and picked up each piece really carefully off the mat so that it didn't get really stretched out. And just keep in mind, it is movable. So when you first line this up, it may not look like it's lining up, but it does. All right, so the first thing we're going to do, other thing you're going to need, any kind of clear fast drying glue is pretty good. I use Glossy Accents. Sharpie is going to be optional, and I'll show you why in a bit. And like I said, just stuff to fill it. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is glue the foam piece to the base. And I put the glue on the foam piece so that I don't overdo it. And this way you don't end up with like way too much glue. Let me move you guys just a bit there. There we go. Just wanted to move you a little bit more. Make sure I'm getting you guys all in focus there. Okay. So now with Glossy Accents, if you've ever used it, it comes with a very, very fine needlepoint sized tip. So you're probably going to want to have basically a really, really thin piercing needle of some kind so that you can unclog it, because it clogs pretty quickly because it does dry really fast. And what I do is I just kind of push this in so that I can clean out the tip. And I pull this out really fast so that it yanks out the little clog at the end. And just make sure you peel off anything off of your little pin right away, or else you're going to get glue all over that. All right, so all I do is go around the whole thing. Now, even though this does dry pretty fast, it gives you just enough time to get the whole bat covered. Like I said, this is a 3-inch bat. You can make it bigger or smaller. I'm just going to fill this up with glue. Now with glossy accents, the thing I love about it, like I said, is it dries really fast. Usually paper to paper is about 5-6 seconds. With everything else, if it's more of a slick surface, like this is actually considered kind of a slick surface or a non-porous surface, it probably gives you about 10 seconds once it makes contact. So you do want to work kind of quickly when you're doing this. And what I'm doing is I'm patting it down so that it kind of smooths out what I'm using, so I don't end up with the glob of it on here, because I don't want it to push out and so that you can end up seeing it. So now we're going to take this. What I did was I lifted it so that I could get one end stretched right away, and the other one to push in so that all of the edges push to the edges of the paper. You want to work quickly to get all the edges lined up with the edge of the paper. Like I said, it's the same cut, so everything should line up. As you can see in the back, you got to push some of those bits in to make sure that it's all lined up. And as soon as it's lined up, just give it a push down. And like I said, it dries really quick, and you want to work as quick as you can, but you do have time, so don't panic. All right. Just play with it till you get it all towards the edge. And then once you feel like it's in the right place, just get it and just give it a good smash down so that everything is pushed down for you. All right. So we're going to leave that to the side. The next thing we're going to do now is glue the top layer to the piece of acetate. All right. And I know the piece of acetate's a little hard to see, so I'm going to grab some paper here. Just so hopefully maybe that'll help you to see it better. Not really. Okay. That maybe it'll help you see it. But we're going to do the same thing. We're going to put the glue on the thinnest piece. So we're putting this on the back of the bat. Now this is a porous surface. So this one, on the porous surface, you're going to want to act just a bit quicker on putting on this glue. Now this is why it was really important to make sure that you use a clear glue, because if any of this pushes out a little, you don't want it to really show so much on the acetate. We're just going to get it all around the edges. Oh, and make sure you have plenty covering each and every end, because you don't want any of your shaker bits to escape. All right, making sure I got enough glue on here. It's going to be on the acetate. So now I'm just going to grab the acetate, and because it's naturally curling, it's making it a little easier. But what I'm doing is I'm putting my finger on the edge of where the bat's wing like goes in, and then just slowly pressing it down so that this way I'm not having to move it and I don't end up with a glue where I don't want it. Oh, I got a little extra glue on that thing. Now again though, we're putting the glue onto a slick surface on the other end. So it might take just a little longer to dry. Oh yeah, see I got a little glue on that side right there. If you do get glue on it, make sure you try to clean it up right away. Otherwise you're gonna end up seeing it the whole time. And just make sure you press everything down so nothing can escape. I'm scratching off some of the glue right there. No worry, it doesn't get too crazy, but I do keep like a little bit of alcohol and some tissues in case some of it does get on there. You need to act quick though, because this glue is meant to stick to a lot of things, and it's actually not exactly a glue. You can use it for everything, a bunch of different things, but yeah. So I'm cleaning it off just with a little bit of alcohol really quick to make sure it's nice and slick. Or nice and clean, nice and see-through, since that's our goal, is to see through. All right, so now you got the acetate piece already, and we have our little well piece. It's what I call like a little well piece, because this is the part that's going to hold it. Now, like I said, if you want to make it thicker, just use a second piece of foam and glue it on. Just again, make sure that it's glued and well sealed, and then you'll get a nice thicker piece so that you can put chunkier things in. But for this one, I am going to use just the thinner piece. Move that tissue out of the way. Cap your glossy accents as soon as possible and like pull everything off if you can. But you want to cap it as soon as possible. All right, so then you're just going to prepare whatever you're going to put inside. Okay, so we have this guy. And of course, my scissors got buried a little. So I'm just going to open this little packet of chunky glitter. Chunky is better. You don't want to use really fine glitter because fine glitter will cause more static and it'll just like stick to the top. And you don't want it really sticking to everything really a lot. All right. I'm also getting the container to put it in after. So I'm not going to use this whole bag. Okay. And then just go ahead and put it in. You don't want too much that when you shake it, nothing's really looks like it's moving. Oops, like that. That's like a bit much. For me, that's a bit much. So I'm just going to take a little out. I want it to be able to shake around and move. Take a little out of that one. There we go. It's a little better. Just make sure there's nothing on the edges so that when you do glue it, I am going to add just a little bit of this one. I love this, what do they call this one? Tinsel glitter. This is actually from a bigger bottle. And I was doing a project and had a little extra. This one can get staticky as well, so you want to be careful with that. And then just try to get as much glitter off the edges so it's not preventing it from being sealed up nicely. Oh, and then I want to get, there's a little well for the feet. I'm just putting a very small dab in the feet, just so you can still see something in the feet too. And then I'm just cleaning off the edges as much as possible. All right, so now what we're gonna do is seal it up. Look, this will help me from not making a giant mess right away. Hopefully that'll fit in there. Yep. Yeah. Okay. Because I only know that the way that I am, I'll end up knocking it over. Okay. So now we're just going to go back to glossy accents again. Make sure it's cleaned out again, because the worst thing would happen is that you're pushing out the glue and then all of a sudden it spews out on you. That would be horrible. So just making sure that it's nice and clean before I use it again. All right, so you want to very carefully hold this because now it's pretty vulnerable that if you smack it the wrong way, this stuff is all going to go flying on you. So now we're just going to quickly put glue all around the edges very thinly. Always pulling, never pushing. If you push when you're doing glue, that is how you end up with the clogged tip right away. So you always want to pull, not push, okay? And I'm smashing it down with the tip, again, to make sure that it doesn't dry in that like raised form that it goes down, because glossy accents are meant to give something a domey like glossy accent on top of something. Oopsie, that's what I meant. Give it a little tap and stuff went flying. I'm just pushing it back. I'd rather get it like on my nail and off of here than it going where it's going to prevent me to be able to seal it. So I'm going very quickly back over just to make sure we have enough glue. All right, and then just get your lid, put it right on top. I said try your very best to line it up the first time, otherwise you can end up smearing the glue around. All right, I use the bat's wings and my fingers to kind of line everything up. Once it's all lined up, just give it a good press. Now I can see some glue on the edges, but that's okay. You really won't notice it unless you're really inspecting it hard, I can tell you that right now. All right, let's just see. Now you have yourself a cute little shaker. Just make sure you go around and press it down everywhere so things don't get stuck, nothing's falling out. You can, after, if you want to, get the glossy accents and then just go along the edges to make sure it's sealed and gives it a nicer, cleaner finish, because I can see a little bit of glue. It bugs me probably more than anybody's ever going to notice. Okay, now here's the part where your Sharpie becomes optional. You have these really tiny eyes and tiny nose that you can glue on if you want to. But I found it easier to do instead for me is to get the little negative piece that the face cuts out with, put it in place just like a little stencil, get your Sharpie, and then just fill in your little stencil. This way too, you know that the eyes and the nose are going exactly where it's supposed to go. This bat is from the Hello Kitty collection. This is why it looks kind of like Hello Kitty's face. And see, now I have more of a face that was easily drawn on with a Sharpie. And if you want, after the Sharpie dries, you can go in with glossy accents to make it a little more raised. Like I said, if you want to make your shaker, look how cute that is. If you want to make your shaker into a paper clip, what you do is simply just get a second piece, like I said, cut an extra piece of the backer, glue down your paper clip right here, and then seal it in with this. You'll see just a tiny raise of the paper clip, but it won't look like really weird, and it'll hold the paper clip in better. Plus make it a bit more sturdy. It's pretty sturdy though. It's not, I mean, it's flexible, but it's not crazy flexible. Pretty sturdy. But there you have it. Really cute little bat to use. Now, the one thing I would change about this bat, and I was like, no, yes, no, yes. I wouldn't put the black shaker bits in, only because then you can't see the face. Here, at least now, you can see the face a little better. But happy making. Yes, I know it's early for Halloween, but I can't help it. I keep seeing all the new stuff coming out for the fall already, and it's all super cute. But like I said, it was really easy to make all these bits. Either use the deep cut or the knife cut on the Maker, deep cut blade on the Explorer Air 2 or now 3. And that's it. Hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe down below. Add a comment. Let me know what you would put in your shakers. Anything else that you'd like me to make a shaker out of, another shape, let me know. I love making these little shakers. And don't forget, you can always add more things, ribbons and tulle and stuff behind it to make it even more pop out. You can make these really large, make them cake toppers, stuff like that. Super cute. Thanks for watching. Bye.